everyone. I'm Lisa Weber Curry, Manager of Clinical Services at Ascension Counseling Center. You're watching Ascension Counseling Center's video newsletter, where we talk about the services we offer and how you can benefit from them. Thanks for joining us. Today, we'll discuss play therapy, a tool we use with children to help them express to counselors their concerns or things that may be troubling for them. We'll visit with Stacy House, licensed professional counselor with Ascension Counseling Center, who specializes in child and parent psychopathology. When we come back, we'll be in the play therapy room for a close-up look at where this important therapy takes place. Please stay with us for the next half hour or so. Our newsletter begins right after this message.
Ascension Parish, a parish steeped in tradition. It's a place where generations of families have continued to enjoy a lifestyle that centers on community living and community celebration. It's a place where we care about each other and we care about ourselves. For more than 50 years, the Ascension Counseling Center has continued the tradition of helping individuals and families change behaviors and change lives. The Ascension Counseling Center.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. Today we have with us Stacy House, who's a licensed professional counselor, and she specializes in child and parent psychopathology. So welcome to our Playroom, and thanks for being with us today, Stacy.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be in the Playroom and happy to be able to show our audience what we have here today at Ascension Counseling Center.
So you ready to jump in this and just show them what we have in our play therapy room and how it works? I mean, we can start off. Would you like to explain to our audience exactly what play therapy is?
I think that'd be great. Let's talk a little bit about what play therapy is and why we do it here. Play therapy is used because it's what children are most comfortable with. We know that children communicate through play, and so as therapists we kind of have to adjust and work with them in the way that they're most comfortable. Using play therapy, we're able to kind of work through any problems that they might have. Play therapy can be used for things like divorce, abuse, just a wide range of different problems that children might be dealing with.
Okay. So it's an easy way for them to express their feelings when they really can't find words to say what they're feeling.
Right, exactly. So we wouldn't expect someone of a different language to come in and understand English. In the same way with children, we can't expect them to speak in the same way that adults do. They communicate differently, and we work with them that way. And they're able to use the different toys and the different things that we have available, which we'll talk about today, to kind of show us what's going on in their lives. And
Great. So is play therapy more directive, or we open the door and the kids walk in and we're following them, observing, or do you direct the play more so?
That's a great question, and I think that different counselors would answer that question differently. I think the counselors that work here, and I'll speak specifically for myself, it just depends on the situation. And for some situations with children, we'll let them kind of direct the play, and we'll let them choose the toys and how they want to work through things. If we're a little bit further along in counseling or further along in the therapy sessions, we might choose specific toys for that child. If the child was involved in something like a car accident, we might have an ambulance available or cars available or a hospital setting. And so it can kind of go either way. We can also teach coping skills by having things like we have feelings frogs or breathing spheres. We'll look at some of those in a little bit, where we can teach coping skills or relaxation, meditation, and so it can be used in lots of different ways.
I think that's so unique, because when you think about children, you don't think about using those types of tools or techniques, especially meditation or breathing techniques. We never think that will help a child, but it actually does.
It actually does, and they get excited about it, and they really, sometimes they need those visuals that adults might just be able to read a script and know exactly what to do. Children aren't like that. Sometimes they like the fun stuff to go along with the different techniques and the skills that we teach them.
Yeah, and especially when they're allowed to play. They're most expressive at play. So I think that's really neat. You mentioned that you can use an ambulance, a hospital to help kids if they have experienced trauma due to an accident. So kind of give us an idea how that would work.
Well, like you said, sometimes it's directive and sometimes it's non-directive. So sometimes the child might come in and they might see those and they might reenact a situation that they've been through. They can come in and they can reenact the same situation over, and sometimes that can even help with things like problem solving. If they had a difficult time, they can kind of work through it and say, well, if this were to happen again, this is how I might like that story to change.
Great. It allows them to imagine a different outcome and actually plan for it.
Right.
Okay,
you know, we see kids sometimes, and you know, probably from your own when your kids were smaller, they act out what they see in real life.
Exactly.
So, you know, my little ones, they'll pick up the phone and they reenact those phone conversations that they see parents have. And so if there's trauma happening, the same type of thing happens, they reenact that trauma and they want to understand it. And so through their play, they come to understand it, and they come to kind of have some closure, hopefully, and some growth, and
learn how to deal with it effectively.
Heal. I think that's what we're looking for all around, is just some way to heal.
Great. That's a great example. So we're going to talk about some of the techniques you use, and you'll give us some examples of it, show us how it works.
Okay. Great.
So I will follow your lead. Whatever you want to start with, you can show us, and we'll go from there.
I don't know if the audience can see, but this is one of our sand trays. We actually have 3 sand trays here at Ascension Counseling Center now. We recently, many of our staff went to a pretty in-depth sand tray therapy training, and through a grant from the Celebration Hope Center in Metairie, we were able to get probably over 1,000 different of these figurines, which are really awesome. And so using the sand tray, clients can choose from the different figurines that we have, and they can place them to represent their world. They can place them to kind of understand. We know that sand is really sensory, so just touching the sand kind of helps our brains connect. It has like right brain, left brain connection thing. When you're putting things into place, you can just kind of see it differently. And even as adults, and especially maybe as adults, we can kind of get something out of choosing those figures and placing them and kind of even describing them. We know with children, when they're doing a sand tray, you know, they're going to do it differently. They're going to work through it. And so maybe this alligator is going to come over and eat the piglet. And that might mean something. Or help them kind of understand the scary things in their lives, or the things that they're working with or dealing with.
It could mean maybe they've been having nightmares. You know, when kids talk about monsters under the bed, or the monsters are going to eat them, but they can articulate that, so they can take the crocodile or alligator and make it happen without being afraid.
Dreams are awesome, and I think that's one of the a really good example of a way we can problem solve is with dreams, and we can kind of come up with a better ending or a happy ending, something that they can do to kind of help themselves, because ultimately that's what we want.
And I know just playing in the sand is calming.
It is.
You know, it slows down that rush of feelings and thoughts that are ruminating in your head. So it's really very relaxing.
Yes. With a lot of the different toys that you'll see, when you're touching and when you're doing, it's kind of hard to multitask, so you can't really have those boundaries or those filters up that you might otherwise have. If we're just sitting here talking face to face, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. We kind of have some resistance, but having something like sand takes away a lot of that resistance for children and teenagers and adults, really anybody. So it's nice to have something else to focus on other than your therapist.
Exactly. And blocking what I don't want to say to my therapist, because I'm free in this sense. So that is wonderful. And I think what is also unique about play therapy that as adults we don't think about, and you mentioned it briefly, it can be used with adults.
Yes. Yes. Differently. It's a different experience, and adults are going to do better with some things than others, but the sand tray is a great example of something that we love to use with adults. It's really...
And I can see why, because I'm very relaxed playing in the sand right now. Okay, so this is really neat. What is another technique that you guys use with play therapy?
Let's see. We have all different things. Maybe we can look at our puppets. So this is something that we might not use as much with adults, but kids are really excited about puppets. I love to use puppets in my therapy. If you want to grab one of these puppets and we can just kind of show what we have, and this can be used in a directive or non-directive play therapy.
Right.
So kids might come in and grab that monster that you have, and the monster might come gobble up this little girl.
Exactly.
And so we kind of just play, and we kind of play that out and see where that brings us. And maybe the monster represents some scary thing that they have in their life, and we can kind of figure that out through play. Or maybe I don't figure it out, but they know what it is.
Right.
And so they kind of figure out how they're going to resolve that problem.
Okay.
So these puppets are really cool, and we have lots of different puppets.
And the puppets can also be their voice. You know, for really shy kids who feel like they're uncomfortable expressing anything, just a normal conversation, but they can do it through the puppet until they gain that confidence.
Yes, absolutely. That's good. We use puppets for things like role playing. If they're having a hard time in social situations, you know, maybe Mary is pushing Sarah down on the playground, and we want to kind of figure out how Mary's going to deal with that. We can use puppets that way.
Great.
You know, as adults, we say, well, my friend is having this problem.
Right. Or
right?
my friend is looking for
Not
a date.
me. Right.
Yes.
But with kids, they can say, well, this puppet is having this problem. And so let's figure it out for this puppet rather than for yourself. It kind of creates some distance, and sometimes that distance can create some sense of safety and security.
Right. It actually problem solves for them without the embarrassment of them having to admit, yes, I was the one who pushed the other kid down, or I was the one being pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really neat. And I also see you have bubbles.
Bubbles! Everybody, well, I say everybody loves bubbles.
Well, I
Kids
certainly do.
usually love bubbles. Sometimes the bubbles are anxious or anxiety provoking for parents. But they're really great for kids. You don't often see people cry while they're blowing bubbles.
Right.
Because they're fun.
Exactly.
Oop, if I can get a bubble, I'll show you.
See.
So,
That's so neat.
you kind of can't help but smile, and you can't
Even as an adult,
but laugh
you can't. Exactly.
and enjoy the process of blowing bubbles. You breathe when you blow bubbles. You have to. You can't not breathe.
You
And
take those big deep breaths to blow
right?
the bubbles
And so
out.
sometimes we'll spend whole sessions on teaching people how to breathe in a relaxing way. But you can't help but not breathe in a relaxing way when you're blowing bubbles. And you don't even realize it.
Exactly.
You're breathing all the way in and you're breathing all the way out. And so bubbles is really great. They're I tell clients often to blow them at home if they're in a stressful situation, or if they're experiencing a lot of anxiety. Go outside. Gosh, that's a wonderful thing. Go outside and blow bubbles. We can do that here too. But bubbles is something that we can do to teach relaxation, to take those deep breaths in.
That's
take
really
the deep
neat.
breaths out.
And if you bring it outside, then you're exercising with it because you're chasing the bubbles. Your brain is releasing positive endorphins that way. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah. You know, we talk about like just visualizing and meditation. You can also look at the bubbles and kind of study the bubbles and enjoy blowing the bubbles, and that really brings you to the here and now. It brings you to the present moment, and so that's another way that bubbles can be.
Which is so important. You forget about all your stresses and worry, and you just be in the moment.
And the bubbles are going to spill.
Of course.
And the sand is going to fall.
So parents be aware of that.
It's going to happen.
Gonna happen.
They're usually pretty cheap, so that's
Right.
okay. Get a big one and put a little bit. I like these little, I have the little wedding bubbles that you can buy a big pack of, and that way if you spill like probably a half an ounce, it's not so detrimental.
Which is a great way to introduce adults to play therapy, because they do it at weddings now all the time, blow the bubbles. So that's really great. Okay, great. And since we're talking about deep breathing, relaxation, let's talk about how play therapy can teach kids to meditate.
Okay.
Because it's hard for adults to learn as well. So how do you teach kids to meditate using play therapy?
Well, there's lots of different ways, and there's lots of different components to meditation. Let's see. Let me show you this guy. This is a new guy that one of our counselors has. He is a meditation teddy. And so he's really
with his
stretchy.
Yoga pants too.
Yeah, he has his little yoga pants on, and he's really stretchy. And you can show kids how you would like them to sit, or they can choose how they would like to sit and meditate. And kids really like this. Like, kids are really getting into the yoga stuff, and it can be really helpful just to kind of slow down, relax. Breathing is probably the most important component, I think, and just kind of noticing how your body is feeling, noticing. I like kids to notice their heartbeat. You have to get really quiet, and you have to like really be observant of your body in order to be aware of your heartbeat. But this little guy will, you know, he does splits. He can do the downward dog. Kids really like that. And so that's one way we can teach and allow them to teach us, because I might not know what's going to help them the most. And I don't think it necessarily matters exactly how you sit as much as just kind of focusing on your breathing and slowing down and just being aware of your body.
Yeah, I was just thinking I can actually see. This is so cool because I can actually see bringing the parents in and the kids actually teaching the parents all the different yoga poses and them doing it together and slowing the whole family down, especially before a family session, you know, where there's a lot of trauma or confusion. Doing that before the session, I can see that being really beneficial. Besides that, little guy's cute.
He is cute. He is really cute.
Yeah, that's really a neat way to work with kids. I think that's really neat.
Yes. We were talking about the breathing. And so, in meditation, and I think this one goes along with that a little bit. I think this is a nice one. This is a sphere that we have, and they come in all different sizes, but they go in and out. Breathing, I think, is probably a common theme with all of these toys, because we just know how important it is. With this, we like to breathe in and out with the sphere, and you can use this to demonstrate how you breathe in and out. So when you take a breath in, and then when you blow it out, and then you just kind of use it to mimic your breathing. And the kids like to get their hands on this.
It's cool because actually I'm trying to follow it, breathing along with it.
It's hard when you're talking. You really have to concentrate.
Right.
You know, we've done different things like biofeedback and things like that in the past, and that's what you're doing, is you're trying to have control and have a visual to control your body. And
you're exactly right, because biofeedback, the flowers or whatever image on the screen expands and contracts. Yeah. So that's really neat, all along with your breathing. Really neat, yeah. We need to put that in every counselor's office for adults and children.
We should put in an order for Amazon.
Exactly.
We can do
that's really neat
that
and helpful.
That would be great. It's really nice. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we have. We have these. Everybody loves these. I think all of our counselors have these in our office. We call these the feeling frogs, and these can be really helpful when we're talking about feelings. One of the most basic things when we're working with kids is just helping them understand their feelings, helping them identify their feelings. And so we can talk about this blue sad frog, and, you know, what does a sad face look like, and help me understand what it's like when you feel sad. What does your body do when you feel sad? Why do you feel sad? What's happening that's making you feel sad? One of the things that I like to do with kids is I like to talk about how our feelings go together. Sometimes we're not just angry. Sometimes we're angry and sad, you know, and they kind of piggyback. And so these guys kind of hang out together. And I think any feeling can go together, but they're like partners in crime. And so we might feel sad and angry, and what that might look like. So that's really cool. The kids like to do all different things with the frogs. The parents will grab the frogs. You know, if I have families in my office, will say, well, you get the angry frog, and you get the sad frog, and it helps just to kind of put a name or put a feeling with what's going on at that time.
It helps them acknowledge and take responsibility for their feelings. But I think especially in children who aren't sure if they should have those feelings, it allows them to know it's okay for you to have these feelings, and they can change at any given moment.
Absolutely.
Really neat. So play therapy really has a lot to offer, not only kids, but families, adults. It's very useful in the counseling field. Yeah, it's really neat. Well, Stacy, you've given us a lot of information today, a lot of helpful tools and techniques, and there's so much more to play therapy. We just wanted to open the door so our audience can be aware of what play therapy can do for our clients.
Right. I think helping them just kind of feel comfortable with what we have here. We're really proud of the little space we have here and what we have to offer, and so just giving them a little bit of a taste of what they can expect when they come.
Yeah, that is great. Well, thank you so much, Stacy, for being with us today.
Thanks.
Really great, helpful program. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks. It was my pleasure.
And thank you for staying with us. We'll be right back from the studio to wrap up.
Everyone is different. You're having a really bad day and things don't look right. And you call the office and you say, I just don't know what to do anymore. I would tell you that that is not how it was meant to be. And it's not fair for you to go through life living a difficult life. But a lot of people that live in our parish don't realize that we're there, or don't know that you don't have to have insurance to go there. You can go there and we work strictly on your income. You could pay $2 to come in and see a doctor, to see a therapist. We have an anxiety group. We have a parenting group. You would be very comfortable being there. You can come in and we can talk to you and we can comfort you. We can be friends. We can understand. We can listen to what your problems are and what has caused you to feel the way that you feel. In the end, you would be very pleased that you ended up there. I've said it once before, but I'll say it again. It's more fulfilling than anything else that job could possibly give me, by seeing a patient or a child or an adult's life completely turned around. That's a good day. Hi, my name is Lisa Lopez, and I'm a nurse at the Ascension Counseling Center.
Thanks for staying with us. And remember, you can catch replays of the program exclusively on Ascension 21 on the days and times listed on your screen, and anytime on Ascension 21's YouTube channel. We hope today's information will help change your life for the better. That's our goal at Ascension Counseling Center, for our programs to help change lives. Remember, Ascension Counseling Center is here by way of your support. We're funded by a 2-meal property tax millage, which means that $2 from every $1,000 you pay in taxes goes to support our agency so we can provide free and low-cost mental health and substance abuse outpatient services to residents of Ascension. We're located in Gonzales at 1112 Southeast Ascension Complex Boulevard, off Worthy Road, across from the courthouse and next to the health unit. You can reach us by calling 225-450-1016. You can also find us on the web at ascensionparish.net/MH and on Facebook at Ascension Counseling Center. You can also hear us on KKAY AM 1590 every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 a.m. Thanks for your support, and until next time, from everyone at Ascension Counseling Center, thank you for watching.